Hi, Gemini, Libra, and what's the other air sign? Aquarius. And this is the year of Aquarius, considering that Pluto has made its transit into you and your energy, Aquarius. This reading is for Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Please like and share, comment and subscribe. Share it with other Geminis. Share it with other Libras. Share it with other Aquariuses. All right, here we go. What is in store for you? So this reading means something no matter when you get it. I'm recording it around the 6th of November. Let me just double check here. Oh, it's actually the 7th of November. I'm recording this on the 7th of November in 2025. The astrology of this current moment when I'm recording this is really interesting. But whenever you receive this reading, look back to this day, November 6th, or around this time of 2025. And what were you doing? What decisions did you make? What things did you have planned? What was going on in your life? Because if you have more questions about this reading than I'm able to address in the reading, which I'm a person, I have like endless questions about endless things. So if you're like me in that regard, think back to that day and see what were you up to, and apply it and compare it to where you're at in the moment that you get this. So the astrology of the right here, right now, we're in a grand water trine. It's all about emotions. Grand water has to do with emotions, intuition, dreams, the dream world. It's where all life begins. And water and air are interesting because water would not exist without air. Part of water and the molecules that make up water is air molecules, oxygen molecules. So pretty cool. It can be really hard for air signs to fully feel emotions. I know this kinesthetically. I have a Mars in air, and so I'm driven by all things air. Like air rules communication, and it rules thoughts, and it rules mental activities and brainy things like reading. So having all this emotion, and then also Cancer in Jupiter, Jupiter expands that type of energy, and Cancer is also, that is a water sign. It specifically rules the area of like shorelines of oceans. A lot of crabs live there. There's also freshwater crabs, but it's very much that place where you have the knowledge of the depths of the emotion. And then you're trying to like bring it into like, how do you harness it and materialize it into creation on earth? So that kind of energy is going on right now around you, air. You might be feeling right now with all of this, you know, or if you're looking back and getting this reading later and you're looking back, you might be noticing that around the time of this reading, there might have been a lot of feelings for you of like, why is everybody so slow? Why is everybody in my way? Why is it so hard to get people to get up and go? And in the Northern Hemisphere, we are getting ready for rest and things like that. Your first card that I've chosen for you is from the Crystal deck, the Crystallary. And it's by Maya Toll, and the illustrations are by Kate O'Hara. I thought of you when I chose this deck because Gemini is ruled by hands, and one way to help ourselves be in control of our thought is by bilateral movement. And bilateral movement is often done with hands and feet. And I imagined air signs holding something or fidgeting with something in order to help ground their ideas. So I've got howlights. This is so interesting because I was just talking about howlite with someone. Well, not just. In quantum entanglement, it might have been I was just talking, but this was actually more like a month or so ago. But howlite is great for bringing understanding between generations. So let's say you've got like the great grandparent generation and the grandparent generation and the parents generation and the kids generation. And maybe like, yeah, so you've got like multiple generations of people with all different Pluto aspects, because each generation gets their own sign in Pluto. And it's about bringing understanding and clarity between those generations, because there is so much hidden wisdom if you are able to get the masses to be on the same page and the same understanding about certain things that are timeless and things that have changed that are not timeless. When you do that, everyone is way stronger. The masses are stronger and more empowered. So this is a card about, sharing information with each other. What does it say? You are the foundation. So what does that mean? Like, what if the great grandparents were the foundation? If we were looking at it through that lens, it would mean that whatever they lived through, great grandparents nowadays, well, it depends. Like some people can have babies at the age of 9. So like if a whole bunch of people were having babies by the age of 9 in a row in one generational line, that would be people that are about 50 years old. So we're talking about like the people that are between like 50 and 100-ish. If you were the foundation, what would that foundation be? What's the knowledge that you have to share that's timeless? What part of history is repeating itself right now that you can share the wisdom of that and be heard? In what ways can you be heard? But what if what if it's not the great grandparents? What if it's the newest children? I would imagine these readings, I set them for people over 18. So let's say 18 and above. What is the wisdom that you have that is your foundation? What if your view and your lens was the foundation of what was needing to be learned and being taught? And it is. All of us are the foundation, right? So what do you have to share? In what ways can you, can you go to nursing homes and help people learn how to navigate social media so that they can have more access to the outer world? Can you, what can you do that would be helpful for teaching people the way life is now so that they don't feel so cut off? Let's say you're including great grandparents or grandparents, or maybe parents, if parents were open to hearing it. What is the information that you have to share? Because your generation, you have knowing and knowledge that not all of us have. And we reach a day and time and age where we're not picking up what's new as easily or quickly. And it's up to you to let us know and share that information. Because when you do that, you're able to get more of what you want in regards to what you know about. So do it. Let's go ahead and read too what it has to say. Let's see what the author has to say. Such a beautiful, beautiful. I see chamomile on there. Chamomile flowers, or maybe it's echinacea, but it looks a little more like daisy or chamomile. Okay, what was it? Howlite. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Howlite. Soft is not a word usually used to describe a stone, but it suits howlite just right. Shh, she whispers to your monkey mind. Come back to center. Sit in stillness. It's not that howlite wants you to curl back into bed with a cup of chamomile tea and call your day done. Quite the opposite. Howlite knows that your projects and adventures and your conversations and relationships will slide into flow and synchronicity when you yourself are unruffled. You are the foundation. Come from your center, undistracted by excess aggravation and random irritation. This is where your power lies. There is a still point within you. Howlite advises, allow yourself to sink into it. Okay, so you might notice some synchronicity in regards to this. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean like go out and get this rock and like start holding it. You can do that if you want, but there's a lot of ways that you can use the wisdom of this. You could break down the word. What does the word mean? Howl, ow, and light. I mean, in the town that I live in, we have a thing where we like howl at 8 p.m. between like 8 and 10 p.m. at night. But what if you did that during the daytime? What if you howl during the daytime? Oh, you can use whatever. Maybe it's the color that's really speaking to you. This is a color that's often used to represent air. I'm noticing too, as I'm looking at this, it appears as if the cup is on, to me, it appears as if the cup is on top of a tree stump that has been sliced. And tree stumps have rings on, a whole bunch of rings in them, and the rings tell you how old the tree is. And it's interesting because the cup seems to be almost sinking down into the tree, and it tells me just like take some time to have a warm beverage with various people from various generations. They say we should have a mentor that's within 10 years older than us, and we should have mentors that are 10 years younger than us to keep us sharp, keep us in life. So yeah, there's so many things that you can glean from this card. It could be, the medicine that chamomile offers. It could be whatever it is, it could be something else that you might see in this card. Gemini, we got a lot of emotions going on right now with this trine in water, and your job is to feel the feelings and relay what feelings could be possibly happening through words. Libra, you are all about remembering that we need balance and reminding people how to achieve that balance and giving people information about how you're achieving your balance and how you're doing what you're doing to keep your balance. Libras, I am getting a download that it's time, reach out. Go ahead and reach out. It's fine to reach out. Don't worry that people are going to say you're gossiping. Don't worry that you're going to materialize more of what the negative thing is, or that the negative thing is going to change and then people aren't going to forget the negative thing, or whatever it is. Like, reach out and talk to people. And Aquarius, you belong everywhere. That's why you feel like you belong nowhere. It's because you belong everywhere. You belong outside of the box, and the box is made up of unlimited circles that are intertwining and crossing over each other, and you belong in all of it. You belong there. You are what brings about evolutionary change. You are the one that is able, and the ones that are able to see the edge of, if all these circles are moving forward in order to stay in balance like a bicycle, you're the edge of that wheel that's able to see what's coming next. And I know it's hard to tap into feelings sometimes, because feelings can be like that feeling of like, it's not quite right, and that's because it's a time of change. So it's like, it's going to be quite right. And then it's not, because that's how we're maintaining balance, is by constantly moving forward. And the only constant is change. So you're the ones who are best equipped. And especially when this video is being made, we're in a time of Scorpio, which has to do with unlimited possibilities, but transformation. Scorpio is all about transformation, and it's all about unearthing whatever comes up during transformation. And sometimes people can get buried in the unearthing of what comes up during transformative processes and what's revealed. But you are on the precipice of knowing what comes next. And the more you share about the future and the new ways and the new information, the more people have to look forward to and to look up to and to look out for, and to know that what they're in the moment, if they are like covered in the muck, it's not all there is. Keep going. And so that's what you've got to do, and that's what's in it for you. And you will always belong with knowing about the new ways and what's outside of the box and the innovative stuff. And Gemini, you might be good at repeating it, and you might be good at asking questions about it. And Libra, you might be good at, saying, yeah, but remember, the best way to balance is to do it this way. So you air signs, get out there and show us what you're working with. What else can I say? Let's see. It's all about you. So when you're doing this, when you're communicating, because air rules communication, air is represented by swords in the tarot. And all the readings that I've done, I think, for all of the signs, I haven't done fire yet, but swords are coming up in everything. So, information, sharing information and communication, swords are what represent that in the tarot. And speaking of the tarot, let's just go ahead and pull a little tarot card for you. Air signs, air Aquarius, and yeah, anybody who has an Aquarius rising, share this. Aquarius moons, anybody that has a Gemini rising or moon or sun, Aquarius sun, or Libra rising or sun, share this and subscribe and make a comment and like it. So y'all can connect and comment and make friends or not make friends or have interesting conversation. What is it for? So during this time when people are supposed to be watching what they say and taking note of what they say, and they're supposed to be journaling, and they're supposed to be looking at how they communicate, because we've got all this watery energy right now. So people are supposed to be paying attention to their feelings and learning how to harness them and learning how to share them and express them or not share them. What are air signs supposed to be doing between now and the time that people receive this? Oh, here we go. Oh, interesting. What does this mean? So you got the 5 of Wands. Oh, what's funny about that? At first I was like, what does this mean? But then I was like, remembering 5 represents what swords represent, what air represents. It represents the mind and the brain and how we think and how we share ideas. So here we have a lot of people taking actions, because Wands is like Aries. It's fiery and it tends to take action before thinking. So here we have the combination of a bunch of people getting together to resurrect or build something. And we've got people taking action, but it's saying, hey, you're going to have to communicate and think. So there are those of us, like maybe it's assembling furniture. For those of us who have moved a lot, we might have really enjoyed assembling furniture and just enjoyed it so much because there was a time where you didn't even really have to think much to assemble furniture. And the poorer that people become over time, like the less they'll be assembling furniture and the more they'll like already be using stuff that's already assembled. But there was a time where people were, assembling furniture a lot, like the quick stuff from like Switzerland or whatever, like IKEA or whatever. And there was a time where you could just put it together real quick, and that was just so fulfilling to feel like you're really good at something. But there's some things that when you're building or you're putting together, because it's for more than just yourself, because it's for more than just ourselves, we have to communicate. Like, hey, if this goes here, then that would go there. What do you think? Let's do it that way, rather than everybody just doing the thing. So it might be a really good time to like read books about like how to communicate effectively or how to be understood. This is being recorded during a time when Mercury's in retrograde, and I can tell you that there has been so many confusing conversations. And for some of us, we've had to like cut people out because of it. And others of us, we've had to tell some people to be like, sorry, I just can't understand right now. Let's pick up this conversation in a future day or some other conversation. Well, for you, air signs, you're supposed to keep having conversations. So if it's somebody that's telling you I can't, then you're going to have the conversation with somebody else. You're going to have to keep talking about whatever it is, because It's not just for you. It is for you in the sense that you're going to feel a real sense of belonging. There's something about Geminis also, similar to Aquarius. Geminis also have that feeling of not being understood. And I relate so much to this. Not being understood. Making a list and then sharing the list with different people, like trying to make it as few words as possible, and then asking other people to say to you, like, what does this mean to you, kind of thing. Like, if I give you this list and I said, like, this is what I think about a thing, what do you get out of it? Ask people if they understand what you're saying. Ask people what they mean. Like, ask people a question and then be like, oh, so I think I understand that you're saying this. Am I getting it? Really work on, like, understanding. And know that you are going to feel understood and you're going to feel a sense of belonging if you're doing this with the intention of building something together. And it's interesting because it's just the beginning of it all too, because fire tends to be like the beginning stages and just getting something started. But air has knowledge in it that will help something stand the test of time against more air, and even possibly against water or flood. So if we were to take that information metaphorically, what you have to contribute is knowledge that helps people in the long run and helps yourself in the long run and helps everybody, because what you're building is going to benefit you. It's for you, and it's going to benefit other people as well. But you have the knowledge to build in a way that will sustain and last the test of time, and maybe more so than ever before. In fact, possibly for the first time ever in your life, you're going to be one of the people that you're going to recognize that you're one of the people that are building something that's going to be around for a long time. And what you are building and the knowledge that you are giving to build this thing by being patient and working with communication and making sure everything is understood and that y'all are understanding each other, what you're going to gain from that is something that's going to stand the test of time when it comes to emotional outbursts, when it comes to feelings getting hurt, when it comes to, so those are things of a watery nature. When it comes to intuitive downloads, there's going to be a place and time and space for that, where that's going to be respected and utilized. And then air also. Of course, you're going to recognize what you're building. And this is metaphorical building or actual real building of things, but metaphorically, whatever it is that, whatever groups or organizations or ideas or conversations that you're having, they are part of future, and they're having huge impacts on things that are coming of them. And they will stand the test of time against overthinking. They will stand the test of time against misunderstandings. There'll be time and place and space for that type of thing. They'll stand the test of time over too much information. Sometimes we receive information that we're like, ooh, I didn't want that. So yeah, that's your reading. To keep things chipper. This is a really intense Scorpio season when this is being recorded, and the impacts of it might be long lasting. So to keep things chipper, you don't need that because you're good at that already. You know how to do that. But what you do need is a card from the banned book deck. Here's a book to read. The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. And this is the 5. Again, 5 has to do with thought and mind and thinking. So I know it's the right card for you. The 5 of inkwells. I can only guess that inkwells are either representing... I think inkwells are probably representing water in this deck. So again, it's another 5 card with another element. We have fire and water. So fire and water create new earth. When you combine fire and water, think lava. And then what happens with lava? Lava ends up settling on top of the ocean. And then what happens after that? It gets rained on, or it gets more ocean on it. And then the sun comes down on it, and new earth comes out of that. Green comes out of that. Money comes out of that. Materializations come out of that. And we already had the building card. So you are bringing in the new earth. I mean, it makes sense with Pluto in Aquarius, like for the first time in hundreds of years. So this is the book for you to read. I've never read it. I know nothing about it. I'm going to take a look at it though, because I have a lot of air in my chart too. You can get your birth chart for free on astro.com and find out if you want to more information about your thing. But The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. It's a banned book, so go read it. Cheers, air signs, and yeah, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what you and hear what you all have to say.